Hi, my friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com with your weekly horoscope for the 8th till the 14th of October 2018. And I'm back with the lives, with the weeklies. I'll make sure I don't miss a weekly now anymore. And I'm working on the yearly horoscopes for 2019. They'll be fantastic, so in depth. There'll be like 1 hour each, and there'll be classes that you can join me on. So I'll announce this a bit later, but yes, that will be very personal. And this week, what's happening this week? We have a new moon in Libra. And we also have Mars and Venus square. They're interconnected. Is it life shattering? Not really, but it can be also a very interesting week because Venus has turned retrograde. And we're going to speak how the new moon in Libra is going to affect each of the 12 signs. So what new beginnings are you going to start? Where in your life? How can you benefit from it? And I advise you, instead of always skipping straight to your sign, listen to the intro. It's the most interesting point, especially if you love astrology. Will give you much more in-depth understanding of the events. All right, and before I start, just a quick announcement that Bobby, our best psychic on astrolada.com, is making a deal till the 8th of October, discount of $10, her 20 minutes reading, her 30 minutes reading for the price of $20. So you get $10 off if you want to check out her profile. There is a link below. So let's see. What is happening? Venus just went retrograde. Today is Saturday, but you're going to be feeling it, and you've been feeling it the week already before and the week after when the planet changes direction. The week before and after, it's very intense. And Venus goes retrograde quite rarely, as you know. And at the same time, Venus also disappeared around the world, as you know, from Babylonian or ancient astrology. When a planet disappears, matters connected to that planet first burst out. Like when it starts disappearing or appearing, they become very intense matters connected to relationships, to agreements, to partnerships, to contracts. But when it disappears, usually they go more in a difficult direction, And the week before, the week after, I've had a lot of partnerships that are breaking down, and I'm releasing a lot of people that I work with. So that's very Venus, for example. But that can be very purging because Venus is in Scorpio. So it's like a much needed purge is happening in relationships. And you've been feeling intensification of this energy for the last week and the next week as well, because Scorpio is a very ruthless sign. It's like all or nothing. So you kind of reevaluate now when Venus is turning retrograde this week and the previous one and the coming one. You're reevaluating your most important relationships, whether it's personal, it might be business contracts, it might be agreements, it might be collaborations with someone. Venus rules this on a general level, and you're doing it in a way that you just kind of want to clean the dross, you want to drain the swamp, as they say, because Scorpio actually even rules swamps. So anything that has become murky on the bottom of your relationship life, you're like, okay, that's it. I've had enough of that, and you're releasing. Scorpio rules where Venus is going retrograde, purges, holes. That's why it's like a drain. It's going to have a draining influence, not in a negative way. Of course, it can be painful, it can be hurtful when we do such things, but it's very necessary. Scorpio rules operations and apertures and holes. So we need through that hole to let go of those unproductive partnerships or agreements or contracts, and also unproductive financial and material practices, because Venus rules money as well. And Venus also rules women, it rules artistic talent of some sort. So you might be doing reevaluation in a very no-nonsense way, in a very dry way. And this week, especially, this intensifies because Venus will square Mars. Actually, those processes might have been happening for the last 1 month. Remember my last weekly that I did a month ago was about the first Venus square Mars. So this about the beginning of September, or like the 10th, 11th onwards, around that time, a process kick-started. And if you return back the memory, you remember that you started getting inklings of what's about to explode now this week from then already. And now you're going to take the definitive action because, Venus squares Mars again. And this time Venus is retrograde. So, bam, and you're going to start working in that direction. You're going to clear up those relationships, reevaluate this financial practices, reevaluate those promises and agreements and contracts. And of course, Scorpio is a painful, dramatic sign. You can feel like it's a lot of drama, it's a lot of darkness. You can feel like love, hate, but it's healing on the high level. Yes, Scorpio is traumatic on the lower level, on the high and crisis prone. On the higher level, Scorpio is very cleansing. It's very healing. It's kind of like a healing crisis that happens, like a miraculous release of pain that is stored. And remember what also, and because Venus is so strong right now, it's first went retrograde and is becoming invisible. It became invisible. So yes, things can get a bit dark, in regards to relationships for a little bit. But you'll start seeing the end of the light, the light at the end of the tunnel around November, when Venus, I think around that time, it will become visible again and turn direct anyway. But now is the deep, intense process of cleansing, chopping, and retrospections and getting ready. And I think actually this week something will really annoy you and push your bottom. And maybe you're feeling it already because Mars squares Venus. So those actions that you're gonna remove wrong ways of spending money or expenses or relationships and partnerships and interpersonal relationship of some sort, or not even fully remove a relationship is not necessarily, but change the terms of contract, how you're behaving with each other, maybe put kind of different demands. And it will happen because something is hurting you, because Mars is making a hard aspect to Venus. They're doing a square aspect. Square means that some outer circumstances is pushing your buttons, and some outer circumstances is blocking you or is creating some trouble, and it's triggering you. So Mars will trigger you for those reevaluations and final, because Venus in Scorpio is very final, like no return back. That's it. You either change this in the relationship or it's over. And someone can do this to you as well. They might say, okay, you haven't been consistent in this promise. You haven't been consistent in your work or terms of agreement with us. So that's it. You either change or I'm leaving or whatever, So these things will be happening a lot this week. There will be some clashes between people, between relationships, personal and business. Venus rules all social contacts anyway, especially women. Women will be like a universal period week this month, this week, because Venus rules women, Mars rules altercations and, clashing opinions, bumping heads, being very opinionated, bursting out, getting upset, shouting at each other, saying things. So women will be very sensitive. I'm warning you, girls or guys who are watching. Be careful to step around. Like you might feel like you're stepping around broken eggs around your partners, especially women that have strong positions in the fixed signs, which is Aquarius, which is Scorpio, which is Taurus and Leo, especially the first, from around 5 degrees to around 15 degrees, they will feel this influence the strongest. But everyone who has planets are in those signs. And you can check out if you have any planets in those signs from my birth chart calculator. Enter your details. I'll put the link for it below. And go to the planetary detail table when the charts appear. And read, is there any planet? Do you have any planet, whether it's ascendant, sun, moon, Uranus, Neptune, doesn't matter, that is on those degrees of the fixed signs that I mentioned, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius? You're going to feel that. You're going to be strongly affected. But overall, women and matters connected to agreements, to negotiations, to diplomacy, they're not going to be so diplomatic. They're not going to be so agreeable. Even though we'll try to balance out this, because the Sun and Mercury and the Moon will be in Libra, the sign of compromise and balance, and that leads us to the moon, new moon in Libra, which is at 15 degrees in the middle of the sign of Libra. Anyone born around, and it's happening on the 9th or 8th, depends where you're in the world, of October. So people born around the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, even the 11th of October, there is a new moon on your birthday, guys. Wow. This is a powerful year of totally new beginnings, and year that puts you in a very different status, that puts you, I remember there was a new moon exactly when the year I started my business. And depending when the moon is already growing on your birthday or it's just coming onto the new moon, some of you might be finishing powerful things, others starting new things this year. But this new moon is in Libra. Libra is all about compromising, finding a solution that suits both sides best. Well, we'll need that because Venus and Mars are in square. We're challenging each other in relationships, in contracts, in agreements. We're not seeing eye to eye. We're getting upset and angry. We want to cut off relationships, and Libra is the sign of relationships. So Libra says, okay, let's try to find a solution. Let's harmonize. Let's place a new beginning. New moon is the sun and moon coming together to fertilize some new development in your life, depending very much on where your ascendant is or sun or moon, more specifically. But generally speaking, some new beginnings will start forming from this week for the next 2 weeks till the full moon. You'll be placing somehow new seeds, but that will be triggered because the ruler of this new moon is Venus. So again, we come back to the Venus square Mars. Venus that's just become invisible. Mars is just squaring it. So this new moon is under the influence of Venus. And so what will spur you into new beginnings, guys, is something that presses your button, something that upsets you, which is Mars. You get angry about something and you say, enough is enough. I'm changing things radically. Venus, the ruler of the eclipse, of the new moon, is in Scorpio. And you say we change this overall or nothing, And at the same time, Venus has gone into its dark phase. Remember what Trifon Nikolov said, who is a Babylonian astrologer? He says that this phase of Venus is connected to revenge. For a few weeks while Venus is invisible in retrograde motion. This is when karma is paid back. It's in ancient Babylonian astrology, Venus retrograde in invisible at the same time, which is just happening at the same time this year, means that karmic events are coming back, especially if we've broken trust, promises, or if someone has broken trust, promise, agreements, hurt your heart, broke your heart, wasn't correct towards you, didn't fulfill their promises. If love was hurt or humiliated in some way, or abused, or feelings were abused, we'll see the results of our actions. Or if you are the one who was hurt, the one who hurt you will start, repercussions will start coming back to them. And I don't want to sound like this doom and gloom preachers that say you burn in hell or whatever, but their karma and consequences is so good for us. Otherwise, we'll just get encrusted in egoism. And it's good for us to experience the results of our actions, because this gives us compassion in regards to what we've done. And this is fair. And Libra is all about fairness, and karma is very fair. And this new moon in Libra is about karmic fairness, rebalancing relationships, Libra, in almost a bit of a drastic and final way. The ruler of Libra and Scorpio, square Mars, something triggers it, upsets it, and that puts a new beginning in your life. Okay, so new moon brings new beginnings in a little bit of more stressful way, because Mars is squaring Venus, the ruler of the new moon. Likelihood of arguments and being more, triggered by others, but that pushes you into rebalancing an unbalanced situation with this new moon and doing things in a new way in that area of your life that the new moon is happening. And finally, the results will be good, because Mars, even though it's squaring Venus, the ruler of the new moon, it's making a trine, helpful aspect to the new moon itself. So whatever is this agent provocateur, as they call it, or this annoying influence in your life that triggers you towards new beginning and towards more final actions, it's kind of helping you it wants to create those new beginnings in you, and it's going to help those new beginnings grow. So if you get angry about something, this can give you creative fire to rebalance the situation, to make it better in some way. So you have to be grateful for that irritant, whether internal or external, or that blockage that's happening. And again, if you work with women, be careful, because things can get excitable. Or if you work with creative people, which is Venusian, again, and people that are ruled by Venus, they'll feel particularly sensitive, and there'll be particularly strong life rearrangements in their for them this week, life decisions that they're taking, spurred by something hurtful, spurred by something that makes them angry. So people like Libra Sun, Moon or Ascendant, Taurus Sun, Moon or Ascendant, you watch out. And you can see also, I don't know what's happened with, but you see Venus going retrograde in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of secrets. Scorpio is the sign of molestation, of abuse as well. It's its darker side, of the dark side of human nature. You see what's happening in the States with I forgot even the name of the person. I don't even watch news, but I read it yesterday, that people and women are being very upset, and they're speaking out again about some sexual abuse case, and even the president is involved in some way. And these things are starting to escalate because Venus started turning retrograde in Scorpio. And you see when Weinstein, when Jupiter entered Scorpio, Jupiter brought light, because Jupiter is like light, into this dark place of sexual secrets, and the Me Too movement started. And now Jupiter is about to leave Scorpio, and it's going to go with a bang again with such a case. And Venus is in Scorpio. Venus rules women and relationships anyway. So such things will be very potent into the collective conscious for the next few weeks. Well, Venus is in Scorpio, and Jupiter as well. And there will be some healing of such wounds and revenge for, for this balance of attitude towards relationships or towards women overall. So you can see also internationally or overall in the next weeks, women will get angry. Women can protest. Women can try to fight for their rights again, Venus square Mars. But now let's get back to the new moon. Let's quickly go through the signs. If you're Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, especially the Ascendant is most important. Please check the Ascendant. I love using whole sign house system with the Ascendant. So the new moon is happening here in your 7th house, guys. Yes. Well, this new moon will bring some new beginnings in relationships over the next 2 weeks for you. There might be a new business partnership, new collaborations. Something might have to die first because the ruler of this eclipse is in Scorpio, the sign of death. Something might spur you to end some relationship, business or personal, and but new one will appear, because new moon, some power struggle as well can appear with partners and others. But that will lead you to, to growing some new side of the relationship, or to growing some new personal business relationships, contracts of some sort as well. If you're Taurus, the new moon is happening in your 6th house, exactly. So I don't know if to write it at all. There is no point. Taurus, the new moon wants to bring new beginnings in regards to your health routines, in regards to your work. Some new work duties can appear, some new work responsibilities, new work projects can appear, new employment can appear for some of you. Taurus rising in particular, Sun or Moon secondly, but still likely possible. So some new work opportunities, some new employment opportunities, or some new employees that you find, or someone you want to hire, maybe house help, or someone, to do your car, whatever, people that we hire to do some service to us at the 6th house. So some new such situation can be created over the next 2 weeks, and that will be spurred because you get angry about something. Maybe someone that irons your shirts, if you're at that level, or cleans your house, damages something, and you're like, because Mars is triggering Venus, the ruler of the new moon. So also they can be so something will spur you either to want to change job or to start a new job or to get frustrated with a job and start looking out for something new, to start a new project, something. Maybe Mars also rules competition. Because of a competition, you decide to put a lot more work into your work projects of some sort. Also, the new moon is in the sixth house of health and daily routines. You might get frustrated with some bad habit of yours, and that can push you to start and to rebalance that health imbalance, whether it's an addiction, whether it's some kind of a messy wardrobe and you want to arrange it. Sixth house is all about putting order and clearing things up and taking care of your health as well. So something will spur you by you getting angry about it to rebalance such matters. And there might be also some new beginnings in regards to matters with a pet. Sixth house rules pets. You know, you might say something happens in another relationship and you say, because Venus goes retrograde in your seventh house, so you're like, I've had it with men, I'm taking a cat. So new beginning in the sixth house. Or but you Tauruses, you're very strongly affected by Venus going retrograde. So especially those Tauruses born towards the end of April, the start of August, the start of May. So Venus is some big transformations are happening already. Your life is changing direction for those late April, early May Tauruses, or Taurus moon or sun or ascendant around those degrees. Your life is changing in a big way. And be more careful, Tauruses, because Venus, the planet that rules you, is squared by Mars. You will be maybe tempted to react more angry or to be challenged in some way by others. You might want to be more final in some way. Again, caution is recommended. Think a couple of days, then maybe take steps and react. All right. If you're Gemini, it's happening in your fifth house, this new moon. So there'll be it's possible for some of you to be new beginnings in your romantic life, because it's triggered by something that you get upset or angry about. Mars square Venus. Sorry. And and that pushes you into opening a new chapter in your love life. Maybe you have like a romantic spout with your partner. You don't see eye to eye, Mars square Venus, and that kind of makes you have to discuss further the relationship, or take some new steps on how you're gonna be together, showing and receiving and giving love. So it doesn't have to be a huge new chapter in your love life. It can be just like a new way of doing things together. And those of you who are single, there might be an opportunity to meet someone. Not for everyone, because there is new moons in your fifth house every year, but around that time, the next 2 weeks, the likelihood is heightened if the rest of your chart agrees with that. Also, there can be some new creative ideas that come to you, and it might be again spurred by something that frustrates you, and you think, it's not right, I want to do it better, I want to rebalance that. So new, better creative ideas or project you can start working on. And they can be some new entertainment or some new hobby that you start doing, Gemini. So if someone invites you, especially if it's in doubles or couples, it's in Libra, someone invites you for a game of tennis or something, it might be even an opportunity for a romantic meeting, or for a game of squash, or to play or to do some hobby in a pair with someone. Or Libra also rules something cultural, some hobby that is more artistic, more connected to architecture, to design, to paintings, to do something like that. You go and do it, because fifth house is also entertainment. If there's some cultural entertainments, go and do some new opportunity will arise out of that. All right. And if you have children, fifth house is your children, something new can appear in the life of your child. Some new tendencies, some new development, some new idea of some sort. If you're Cancer, the new moon is happening in your fourth house. Cancer's rising in first place, moon second, sun third. So new moon in your fourth house. Some new beginnings over the next 2 weeks in regards to your family and home. Maybe you wanted to live somewhere, and now a new idea comes and you want to live somewhere else. So maybe you wanted to, maybe you get an idea that you want to refurbish your house, and change how it looks. Or maybe there's a new circumstance between your family members. So maybe something, but remember that the solar eclipse, sorry, this new moon, not solar eclipse, is triggered. The ruler of this lunar eclipse is Venus squared by Mars, which means that something can irritate you, something can push your buttons and stresses you, which pushes you to make some changes in your home, place of living, garden, vehicles. Fourth house rules that as well. Makes you make some new beginnings and some new decisions in regards to family life overall and family members. Even there might be some kind of stress with family members, so you have to rebalance the relationship by starting again, pressing the reset button, as they call, for new moons. Okay, or sometimes it can be like you see a scratch on your car. Like cars, according to ancient astrology, are ruled by the fourth house, and that Mars square Venus says like, "Oh, I don't like the scratch," or your car breaks down, and you're like, "Okay, new car," or you scratch some furniture in your home or whatever, it breaks that annoys you. Mars square Venus, and you're like, "Okay, new beginning." I hope it's something small like that. I'll buy a new table. Okay, so if you are Leo, it's happening in your third house, and new contacts can appear, new commercial business activities as well can appear of some sort, and new third house is often very much connected to marketing, advertising, finding new clients of some sort, and if you're at all involved with such things, something can maybe competition, because the ruler of the third house, new moon Venus is squared by Mars. Competition can aggravate you and can upset you, so you decide to have a new marketing campaign or a very different way to start doing your marketing or your sales of some sort. Maybe some stress that happens with another person can push you into creating new contacts, can push you into starting some new beginning in regards to relationships with teammates, flatmates, some teamwork. New teamwork can appear of some sort, with a small group of people. You can just make new friends on social network as well. Third house rules the internet and all those things. And some new journey, short journey can appear in your life. Again, it can be because you're triggered into it by something that upsets you, and you say, okay, I have to live there or go there. And third house is learning skills or communications. Again, as I said, they can be establishing of new communications or resetting the button to already existing communications, receiving some message that you've expected over the next 2 weeks as well. Or some kind of new message that you haven't actually, it's a new thing that you haven't expected, and that brings new opportunities of some sort. Or you might contact someone because you get upset, Venus square Mars, and that leads to some new opportunities. Okay, and you can also start learning something new, some new skill. If you're Virgo, it's happening in your second house. Well, new beginnings in regards to financial matters. You might decide over the next 2 weeks to buy something new, some assets, some valuable asset. You might decide to change the way you're financing yourself. You might decide to change the way you're spending money and what you're spending it, to start like a new reset button again, as the new moon is known, in regards to what you do with valuables, finances, and resources. But being Virgo, also you can be spurred to that because of the Venus square Mars. Because, for example, you might realize that there might be a new source of income, for example, because Mars is in your sixth house, because of some conflict at work, square Venus, in your third house of communication. So maybe because there is some conflict at work through communications, or with colleagues, or with people in a small group environment, that can spur you to look for new resources or new sources of income. Or maybe because there is some kind of sixth house is critical, the criticism, Venus in the third house is communications, because of altercation of some sort or criticism of some sort. You might want to find some kind of more independence, because new moons are about finding independence and new solutions towards your financial situation, or you decide to change your valuables and values because of such things. And by the way, for everyone who wants to know exactly how Venus retrograde will affect them, check out my October videos. I dare speak in depth because that's the most important influence for the whole of October, Venus retrograde. This is just temporary for a week or two, the new moon. All right, if you're Libra, well, the new moon is happening in your sign, Libra. Libra is especially born around those days, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. Oh, that's a year you'll remember in the next 12 months. That's where everything is reset in your life. I like seeing new moons on people's life, especially people that are looking for something new and that are, it can turn your life around, but it's not the easiest of years having a new moon on your birthday, because you're starting from the start something. You're starting from scratch in some way. But if you're ready for powerful, important, life-defining changes, they will be coming for you. But anyway, for all of Libras, the new moon is falling in your sign. And this means that whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, there will be powerful new ideas coming to you for the next 2 weeks, especially when the intuitions might start coming exactly around the new moon, but you'll start acting on them, I would say around the 10th, 11th of October, when the moon becomes visible. Don't act on them before that, because we want the moon to be visible, so things that you start growing for you. But very important month in your life, Libras, because for any Libra, the new moon in their sign always indicates new beginnings, new ideas of some sort, and new downloads from the universe. Father, mother are copulating in your sign. Wink, wink. they'll be giving birth to something interesting in your life soon. And of course, the most affected ones are people born this week, basically, because the new moon is happening then. And so, great time after the new moon, a couple of days, initiate new things. They're going to grow for the next 12 months. Even if you don't have the resources now to initiate whatever it is, just at least write it down and do the first step, because now is the most auspicious time for you to start new beginnings. But don't forget that Venus, your ruler, is in square with Mars. You might feel a bit rushed. You might feel a bit irritated. You might feel like challenged and provoked. You might feel like bursting out with other people. And be careful not to overreact. And Mars rules your 7th house, naturally Aries, so others will provoke you in some way. That can be a bit irritating. But after all, this provocation that happens makes you take those new beginnings. And it's very supportive for you, because Mars is making a trine to your sign, Libras, currently. From your 5th house, so new creative projects can appear out of it as well. And that actually you're reevaluating the whole month your finances and resources, and what relationships you consider valuable, because Venus is retrograde in your 2nd house, and that will be also involved somehow with those new decisions and new beginnings that you take. Then Scorpio. Well, the new moon is happening in your 12th house. It's kind of is the month before your birthday if you're Scorpio sun, or the month before the sun enters your ascendant sign. So you can feel a little bit more drained this week, and for a week after that or two, until the sun enters the sign of Scorpio. But so many important other things are happening for Scorpio. I mean, come on, Venus is going retrograde in your sign. So this new moon, it's more like this new moon is time for reflection for a couple of weeks. Venus is retrograde in your sign, so Venus is transforming the most your sign, and is transforming your whole attitude towards yourself, towards your self-worth, towards your self-value, which is the things Venus rules. Your attitude towards resources and finances, Venus rules those money as well. You're changing direction. Matters in regards to money are changing direction in your life. Matters in regards to self-image, the 1st house is changing direction. Matters in regards to If it's your sun there, in Scorpio, it might be even in regards to your career and life goals that are being reevaluated, and career that is changing direction. If it's your moon in Scorpio, you're reevaluating your life circumstances, your family circumstances, your environment overall. The moon rules our environment, our daily life environment. And emotional bonds and connections we are reevaluating in a powerful way. There might be some changes that are happening in your family and personal life. My baby moon is Scorpio, and oh my God, Venus retrograde on his moon and ascendant, very close. We're sending him to daycare. That's Venus retrograde influence there. Big change of direction. Anyway, so yeah, Scorpio, for you, Venus is the more impactful one, but Venus is receiving a square from your sign, Mars. So those changes are instigated by you. Something can make you angry and upset, and you say, enough is enough. I'm starting, I'm gonna reevaluate my whole life or this area of my life, and I can change things. And especially Venus rules your relationship, because rules the seventh house. You can be reevaluating important relationships in regards to you, but you're taking the steps because Mars is the one squaring Venus. But how does this new moon fit in with that? It's in the 12th house, which means that you're doing more like a research in the next 2 weeks. So yes, you can escalate and take important decisions now, but you can start implementing them after that. Because now the Venus is invisible in your sign and it's still retrograde, and this 12th house moon, new moon is allowing you to let go of things that you have to leave more easily, to emotionally detach more easily from them. So things are lining up in such 12th house is letting go, releasing. And you'll be doing some releasing for sure with Venus retrograde, so you can be emotionally detached to that. And you can be getting clues from invisible sources, 12 houses, guidance through dreams, because this new moon triggers it, guidance through mystical sources, maybe just, watching some channel and someone saying a sentence, and you're like, oh, God spoke to me, he gave me an answer, So this new moon will be helping you with whatever new beginnings you have to do, reevaluations from the invisible realms, like ancestors sending you signals, the intuition working, in your sleep state as well. And on a more practical, mundane level, they can be new beginning in regards to finding some new way to relax and take it easy. Because, say, stress comes too much on you. Mars square Venus, and you're like, I've had enough, I want to escape 12th house. So, that's a new way of escaping. That rebalances your feelings because it's in the Libra. So you need your feelings to be rebalanced in the next 2 weeks. And you do it, though, in a way that you kind of retreat. It might be a retreat, spend time alone. That's the 12th house. And it might be like, I want to escape. I'm going to take a few days break and I'm not going to work. That's the 12th house. Like escaping for a little bit. Don't be afraid. You need this time for reevaluation. Important life changes are happening for you. If you are Sagittarius, the new moon is happening in your 11th house. Powerful. New beginnings. There is a new moon every year, so there can be powerful new beginnings every year at the same time. But new beginnings can come to you in regards to new friendships can appear, and that can be spurred because something annoys you, upsets you, or you have to place like a new chapter in a relationship with a friend, or in a relationships with an acquaintance of some sort. But something can trigger you, can instigate you to get upset, or for you to upset someone, Venus square Mars, and it pushes you to create new circumstances or to do something different in regards to your in regards to your friendships and social circle and affiliation with groups and forums or whatever. So clean slate, reset button, starting over, but because something is triggered you. Or 11th house is also the house of gains. Maybe some new ideas can appear because you are, because Saturn is also in your second house of money, and maybe resources are a bit scarce now for Sagittarius, so they're saving for something, or they're having more financial pressure. But 11th house is where we can gain. So new beginnings, you can get some new ideas of how to gain and how to achieve some socio-economic role, or you can even create some new acquaintance that is beneficial for you, or new network of some sort. If there are opportunities for you to connect to a network or groups of people in the next 2 weeks, that can create new ideas for resources or for income of some sort as well, opportunities. All right. Or you can be pressing the reset button on some long-term goals, which is the 11th house. If you're Capricorn, the new moon is in your 10th house. Well, 10th house is your social status and career. In some extreme cases, you might be changing your social state and starting a new such one. But in most cases, it might be just like a new project in your career. I've sometimes seen a new moon in the 10th house bring a new boss to someone, or new rules. 10th house is all about rules and regulations. There is a new rule that's imposed on you that you have to, or that you create new rules for yourself. I got new rules, I count them. So that's a good time to set up a plan in regards to your career and in regards to your social status, so in regards to your something to do with practical consideration, practical matters. This new moon can bring an inspiration or can bring those new ideas and those new rules that you create. If you're a leader, or if you have people that work for you, or if you are in a strong social position of recognition, there will be some important new project that starts for you. But that can be triggered because of you get upset about something, because you get Venus square Mars can indicate that you are Venus is in the 11th house of gains for you. Mars is in your second house of money, maybe because of some stress or some kind of financial consideration that annoys you, that or in regards to how you're being evaluated or appreciated in groups, or in regards to money, that pushes you towards a new career direction. Sometimes I even see a person get a new job when there is a new moon in the 10th house. And because it is transformational time with Venus retrograde in Scorpio, yes, new beginnings, and especially that impact your social status and career. Aquarius, my fellow siblings. New moon in our 9th house. Reset button on our belief systems. Reset button on our plans for the future is the 9th house. Your vision of the future, your ideal of the future. And it doesn't have to be something how you're imagining to be in 30 years, but you maybe have some something to look forward to. The 9th house is those visions, those things that give us meaning and purpose, those high things we're aiming towards. Well, now new ideas might come like that, new inspiration. But it's a lucky, the 9th house is considered lucky when it's triggered by a new moon. Some kind of new luck can come into your life. I've always found as an Aquarius that October month, when most of the new moons in October, is quite lucky for me. And new visions for your life start growing. New guidance can come, like a new teacher can come into your life, new coach, new astrologer. 9th house is counselor, people that patrons of ours, people that want to help us, people that are benevolent, that are like a gift from God. God's blessing is the 9th house. With an advice, you can receive like a new advice or new perspective, which is high and different, that helps you see things from a different direction. So be open to this inspiration that comes from the 9th house, which is divine counsel, as we call it. And this divine counsel can come to us through any source, through a child speaking, through intuition, through a book you read, through inspirational speech you hear, through something that kind of makes your heart, okay, this sounds like the truth. So something that comes to you like an information or like an experience will carry the strong stamp of being the truth and being like a guiding, the finger of God pointing you in a certain direction. Ask for signs, you'll receive them. On the new moon, maybe make a ritual, pray to receive guidance if you have some questions, or contact astrologers or something. The 9th house are those counselors and guides, and that especially that interpret the words of God, or the thoughts of God, who we think we can, maybe a little hard, but just for the next step at least that you need to take. So you might be given some higher knowledge or information to point to the next step. Plus, they can bring some new beginnings in regards to faraway travel, or in regards to planning something to do with teaching, with lecturing, with higher education. You might get, and that might come because you get upset, because you get something in regards, especially because Venus is in your 10th house going retrograde, squared by Mars in your first house. You take the action, but it might be because your initiative. Oh, this whole month Mars is in Aquarius. You're forging forward, guys. But you're kind of angry a lot of the time, and you're angry. You decide to find something to do with your career or your social status. Venus square Mars in the Venus in the 10th house, or even authority figures or bosses or institutions, and this triggers you into action to change your plans for the future. New moon in the 9th house, and because you might need guidance because you don't know if this is, you receive also the guidance from someone. It's good time to contact coaches and stuff like that. Also, new beginnings and new plans for higher education, for travel, for foreign, anything to do with foreign things. Maybe new, yeah, forgot. Anyway, but that will rebalance you because this new moon is in Libra. That will rebalance the scales of something that was out of order in your life as well, those new ideas. So Pisces, the final sign. Oh, since I have a daughter in Pisces, this is my favorite sign now. Like I never knew many Pisces personally, just through charts, but I started like meeting more and more Pisces. Oh, I love them. This energy, so healing and soothing. For most cases, there are kind of Pisces, and you know who you are. you that are not like that. But anyway, Pisces, the new moon is in your 8th house. Well, there will be new beginnings in regards to matters connected to mutual resources. Maybe there will be new beginnings. For example, your wife or husband might find a new source of income, or maybe they can bring something to you. You can, over the next 2 weeks, you can get a new idea how to combine your resources with someone, where to invest 8 houses, where to invest in kind of pooled funds together, like whether it's stocks or something, or where you mix your money with someone. And if you're any business that's connected to such matters, mutual resources, banking, finances, you're going to be having either a new project of work, or you might be starting or you might be doing such new transactions of some sort. Otherwise, you just can get, for example, you can start some partnership business or personal that leads to mutual funds and resources of some sort over the next 2 weeks. But also 8th house is the house of researching and studying in depth. And so you might be pushed into some deep research, Pisces, onto some kind of deep self journey of discovery or investigation of some sort, because something triggers you. Venus square Mars. Venus is the ruler of this new moon. So this deep self searching and self analysis that can start happening for you can be because you are triggered in some way. And it might be even in some passive aggressive way that you're triggered, that because Mars is in your 12th house. And it pushes you on a journey of higher knowledge, Venus in the 9th house, or pushes you in a journey of self-introspection and psychological analysis, and even delving deep into the occult and astrology for the next few weeks with the new moon in the 8th house. If you're dealing with any kind of taxes, insurances, the next 2 weeks can bring new developments, important new developments in that area. That might take 6 months to see the results of, but stay tuned for that. So here it is, my new moon predictions. Hopefully you made sense for you. Hopefully you write to me what's happening. Don't forget, Bobby is doing, the best psychic is doing $10 off. And I'll be working hard for you guys to deliver every week your weekly. From now on, I'm back from travels. and to deliver weeklies on time every week, and to deliver, I'm working on your November monthlies. We're going to do Jupiter in Sagittarius webinar. I'll announce all those things, and I'm going to do 12 webinars on each of the 12 signs for 2019 for a very small price. They'll be so in depth. I've been preparing very hard, so very exciting projects I have for you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing your comments, questions if you have. Maybe from next week I'll even start doing it live directly, so we can communicate with you. I want to be more in touch with you. And as I said, I'm doing big changes to the website. I'm gonna keep very small group of people that I work with, only top-notch astrologers, and I don't want to be more than 10 people. I'm just cutting it, and I want to deliver one of the highest quality of information here. I'm not gonna be putting a lot of different videos from people, just small group, but very concentrated, and a lot more of me in the coming months, if baby permitting, but I'll do my best. So thank you so much. Oh yes, and I have for you in December, after 3 years of doing it, a free transit calculator for each one of you. I guarantee you there will be 100,000 people going on their free transit calculator to check your transits with free text, what it means. So those weeklies will, you'll probably still enjoy watching them, but those weeklies will be so far out than this calculator that gives you all the correct information specifically for you, with no one else in the world who have the same transit at the same time like you, unless you're twins. Anyway, thank you so much, and lots of exciting things till Christmas. I'm preparing so many things, so stay tuned, guys. Thank you.